Have you ever imagined what it would take to turn the Commanders into a true defensive nightmare for opponents? And what if one of the best tight ends in the NFL was also on the radar? Today, Commanders Fan News Today brings a full analysis of the possible paths the team can take to become a total powerhouse in 2025. With major reinforcements like Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil, it's clear that the front office went all in on the offense. And rightly so. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin desperately needed help, and young quarterback Jaden Daniels spent more time on the ground than any fan would like to admit. There were 47 sacks just last season. But while the offense received star treatment, the defense is still a work in progress, and that's exactly where the draft comes in. Experts believe the Commanders will focus their early picks on strengthening the defensive line, a unit that became vulnerable after the surprising departure of Dante Fowler Jr., a team sack leader with 10.5 takedowns in 2024. The bad news: picking at 29th overall, finding talents like Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, or Michael Williams seems unlikely. The good news: if any of those names fall that far, General Manager Adam Peters won't think twice before grabbing an instant impact reinforcement. But the draft isn't the only source of hope. According to hot rumors from the portal Last Word on Sports, Mark Andrews, the Ravens' star tight end, might be on the Commanders' radar. Yes, you read that right. Even with Zach Ertz impressing in his first season with 66 receptions and 7 touchdowns, the front office understands the future of the position still needs to be secured. And if there's a chance to bring in a talent like Andrews, the team might just go for it. Andrews will be the perfect target for Jaden Daniels, young, reliable, dominant in the red zone. The only downside? The usual factors: recent injuries and a contract worth $16 million. But with the deal entering its final year, everything could change depending on the Ravens' willingness. And if the draft or the Andrews trade doesn't materialize, time to look at the veteran market. And who shows up as the ideal name? None other than Von Miller, a living legend, Super Bowl MVP, and still a force at 36 years old. Released by the Bills, Miller could arrive on a short, inexpensive contract with immediate impact, a rare find in a player with a Hall of Fame resume. His record speaks for itself: 2-time champion, 8-time Pro Bowler, member of the 2010s All-Decade team, and over $190 million earned in his career. If he's still got gas in the tank, he could be the missing piece for a team dreaming big. With so many possibilities on the table, from the draft to trades and legendary names in the market, the Commanders' front office finally seems ready to build a balanced and competitive roster around Jaden Daniels. But how about you, fan? Do you think Mark Andrews would be a good addition? Or could Von Miller be the key to solving the pass rush issues? What's most interesting in all this is noticing how the franchise's leadership has changed its stance. After years of questionable decisions and lack of boldness, we now see a more attentive Washington, more aggressive and willing to invest heavily to build a team that goes beyond playoff appearances. The arrival of Adam Peters as general manager seems to have brought a new spirit. Think big, act strategically, and don't be afraid to shake things up, even if it involves big names or unpopular decisions. The potential signing of Von Miller is a clear example of that. Yes, he's nearing the end of his career. Yes, there's an injury risk. But it's also true that a player with Miller's experience can transform a locker room, and even more, inspire young defensive talents to elevate their game. Imagine him mentoring a future first-round pick on the defensive line. It would be the ideal marriage between youth and experience, something every elite defense needs. And back to the draft, even though the Commanders are far from the top picks, there's always the possibility of a strategic trade-up. Moving up a few spots could be the key to landing a high-impact defensive talent, especially if the front office is convinced about a specific name. This kind of move, although risky, could be the game changer for a defense that lost key players and is still seeking its identity after the departures of Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Another point worth noting is the psychological factor. A solid defense gives confidence to the quarterback. Jaden Daniels, despite being young, showed flashes of great talent, but he needs time in the pocket, consistent targets, and a defense that gives the ball back frequently. It's a collective construction, and each reinforcement, each market move, each draft pick could represent a key piece in this puzzle. And that's exactly what's at stake now: building the right team around Daniels, not just for the present, but for a winning future. That's why rumors like the one involving Mark Andrews can't be ignored. They show that the front office is keeping an eye on available talent, even if it's still too early for a concrete offer. It's the mentality of a team that's ready to fight, tired of being a background player in the conference. And this new mindset could very well change the franchise's future for the next few years. Now I want to hear from you, Commanders fan. Do you believe the team should prioritize the draft to reinforce the defense? Or do you think the arrival of a veteran like Von Miller could have a more immediate impact? And what about Mark Andrews? Is it worth taking the risk to further strengthen the offense? As Commanders fan, I have to be honest with you. This is the most exciting time we've lived through in recent years. After so much frustration, it finally feels like the franchise is serious about building a competitive, balanced, and forward-looking team. The arrival of Adam Peters completely changed the atmosphere, and you can see it not only in the moves already made, but especially in the possibilities being considered. I get excited just imagining the chance to have a rejuvenated defensive line with someone like Shamar Stewart or Mike Green, guys who could step onto the field and make an impact from the very first snap. And if one of them really is available at pick 29, man, Adam Peters better run to the stage with that card in hand. And when we talk about Von Miller, look, I know he's near the end of his career, past his prime. But let's be real, the guy still delivers. At 36, he got 6 sacks playing just a third of the snaps. That shows he can be an extremely valuable piece on third downs, pressuring the quarterback and passing on experience to the younger group. Having a guy with that mentality in the locker room is pure gold. No, Mark Andrews. That's where the heart beats faster. I know some people are hesitant because of the injuries in the contract, but let's think. If the goal is to give Jaden Daniels all the support possible, this is the kind of target that completely elevates the offense. He, along with Ertz, would transform our passing game. And just imagine the opposing defense having to worry about McLaurin, Debo, Ertz, and Andrews. It would be a nightmare for any defensive coordinator. Of course, all these are scenarios that still depend on negotiations, draft luck, and bold decisions from the front office. But just the fact that we're discussing these names and possibilities already shows how far the Commanders have come. The mindset has changed, and that's all we ever wanted to see as fans. So now it's your turn, fan. Are you also feeling this shift in mentality behind the scenes? Do you agree that the team needs to urgently reinforce the defense, or do you think the offense should remain the focus? And what do you think of a possible trio of Ertz, Andrews, and Samuel helping Jaden Daniels shine? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget, if you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with everything about our team, subscribe to the Commanders Fan News Today channel and turn on the notification bell. This new era in Washington is just beginning, and we're going to live it together step by step. And look, for those who've been Commanders fans for so long, seeing all this movement, these talks about real, strategic reinforcements with potential for immediate impact brings a hope we haven't felt in years. Because it's not just about talent, it's about attitude. The franchise is showing it won't settle for being a background act anymore. The goal now is to fight at the top. And honestly, the foundation is already there. We have a young, explosive, and determined quarterback. We have a receiving core that, with the right pieces, could become one of the best in the league. And if the defense returns to dominance, as it once was, the whole conversation changes. We move from hopeful to realistic title contention. But of course, action is needed now. We can't sit back and wait for things to fix themselves. Whether it's moving up in the draft to secure a top-tier defensive talent, signing Von Miller on a smart deal, or even making a bold trade for Mark Andrews, the important thing is not to lose the moment. Because let's be honest, this kind of opportunity doesn't come around often. We have a new GM, a coach with fresh ideas, a team undergoing a revamp, and a fan base ready to explode with joy if things start going right. The time is now. And if there's one thing this fan base deserves, it's seeing the Commanders playing hard in January, fighting for the playoffs, and maybe even dreaming of that Super Bowl that seems so far away, but with planning and courage could become a reality again. So once again, let us know in the comments what you think. What would you do if you were in Adam Peters' shoes? Trade for Mark Andrews? Bet on Von Miller? Or focus on the draft to build the defense of the future? Your opinion is very important to us here on the channel. And of course, if you enjoyed this full analysis and want to keep following everything about the Washington Commanders, subscribe to the Commanders Fan News Today channel, turn on the bell, and come with us on this journey toward a new era in Washington.